Casual mode. Oh boy. Hooray for punishments for trying to play the game normally now. Well, I don't know how this is gonna work out. Maybe the searching's going better now. Last night I tried and I can never get into a game, but I'm hoping that this will happen at a reasonable time. It's like I'm literally level 1. I'm the most basic of basics. It should be able to put me into a game almost immediately, but it doesn't. I don't know what's up with casual mode. This update kind of did some strange things that I'm not sure if I'm okay with. I mean, it immediately added a bunch of bugs and didn't fix some of the ones it mentioned. I mean, I'm still seeing people with multiple weapons. The eureka effect now allows the engineer to have infinite metal, because it gets more back off of a dead teleporter than he requires to put down. It only takes 25 to build it. The 20% ammo pickup reduction gets rounded so it doesn't work properly on the individual pieces of scrap, so he still picks up like 48 metal. Still searching. Spies now move faster, although I have to assume that that move speed bonus only works if he disguises as a class that can go that fast, so I think a disguised spy might still walk at a reasonable pace. He might still only move 300 if he's disguised as like a pyro or a sniper. It might still be okay. Although he can go invisible to go with normal speed, I would think. That's assuming that, like, whenever I feel like Valve updates a game mechanic, I feel like they tend to forget a lot of the details for how that mechanic interacts, which is why they really need to just have some steady people, like, beta testing with them, like Banny, for example. Like, he knows a lot about the game, he's had a lot of experience in the game, so you would recognize a lot of things. I mean, he's pretty much swamped up in competitive, so there's a lot of things he wouldn't know or recognize, but it would still help to have someone like that constantly involved and not just like occasionally brought in to show them like, hey, this is what we're doing, tell everybody it's okay. Like, he needs to be there the whole time helping. You need more people doing that, and there's so many people who would do that. It's like you don't even have to hire anyone, you just need them there. You just need them to have access so they can do it. Like, jeez. And who cares if there's leaking or spoiling? It's just TF2. Like, it's not a big deal. Valve's gotten a little bit too obsessed with privacy, and like that sort of like lack of transparency and sort of like, well, what's coming next kind of thing is something that you have to earn. It's like a faith thing where it's like you haven't let people down and you've done like really cool things, so they're just excited for what you do next. But at this point, TF2 has had so many like letdowns and like mistakes and failings that you don't have that trust anymore. You can't keep doing that. You're gonna have to be more transparent and get opinions faster, because you've obviously lost your touch. You've lost an understanding of what people are looking for. Look at how unpolished this is. What is wrong with this picture? Look at all this like messed up gradients. Like, that's not even important, but it's bugging me. I like this. I like that I can ring it because I'm annoyed, and I can pretend it's a bell that I'm ringing for service. And be like, hey Valve, can I actually play the game? But they don't know what they're doing anymore. They want to, and they're trying, and I can respect that. But like, I've been looking at some of the patch notes, and it's been pretty rough. I wonder if I can show you a Shift Tab menu from here. teamfortress.com. Updates. Here it is. Where is it? Yeah, I've tested all of this out, by the way. Like, I've actually been going through them and checking them. Soda Popper it takes, like, you have to kill, like, almost a whole heavy to build up those jumps, which is a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. It's better than running around for it, but, like, having to, I think you have to kill more than a heavy, actually, in order to build the hype. It takes way too much damage. But maybe that's just my own opinion, since I haven't gotten to play with it too much. I had to kill like 4 different people, all of which are being damaged by other sources. So I end up not getting as much damage on them as I want before I can get it. The short stops push effect is just like useless. It's so much fun because it's goofy and you can like get with your friends together and like bully someone like as a joke. Just like rush up to them and start all pushing them. But there's no real actual like point to it. The only time I could see it being useful is if you're about to catch, like, you get on last point and you're trying to push someone off, but, like, they've already shot at you, like, 2 or 3 times before they even get in range to stand on the objective where you are. So there's no point, and it's really not going to do anything, because if someone's walking towards you and you push them, they don't really go anywhere, so it's not really any reliability. The stun on a stick take less damage when deployed feels a little bit weird, because even 25% less damage isn't that much. Because you have to hold it out. You can't be fighting back anymore. So I guess it allows you to survive from afterburn to some degree, assuming that the like damage gets rounded down properly instead of like maybe not at all. The Righteous Bison was meant to hit people multiple times, but apparently the new team didn't realize that. They're like, oh no, the damage isn't consistent, so we want it to be consistent. But it's like, now there's no point, because it doesn't do reasonable damage to like groups of people, which is how you would get people off points. Normally you'd fire your rockets, but the idea was that the Bison was a good alternate that you would actually consider instead of the shotgun, because you could actually spam chokes and stuff, and it would take care of people who are rushing in blindly instead of waiting. But now there's no point, because it after it hits the first 2 people, it's basically doing 12 damage, and it only does the 12 damage once. I could have maybe understood this if it still had multiple penetration for individuals, but then again it would only do 4 and be gone. That still wouldn't make sense. So it's just it's like Righteous Bison is just overall a bad weapon now. Like, you could rely on it for close range, but you can't really anymore because it's so slow. People could literally wiggle out of the way before you make your shot, and there would be no problem for them. It would almost be better for it to have a really slow projectile, so it could be more like Symmetra's balls in Overwatch, where it's like it's maybe not really meant to hit somebody, but more just meant for raw pressure, so they can't just be walking around blindly. Displaying action, whatever, 2 seconds, doesn't really matter to me too much. I'm glad about the Cozy Camper. I'm glad the Sydney Sleeper now actually extinguishes teammates, and it actually makes headshots. I mean, not headshot damage, but it does an effect on headshots. There's still a reason to be skillful with it. The problem is that the Sydney Sleeper doesn't have that like cool timing effect anymore, where you like waited for the Girardi to like pulse at the right time, so it's all about charging it up all the way to get maximum time on it. But full charges is such a like huge investment, is like even clearly emphasized by Cozy Camper here. But you have to get full charges with the Sydney Sleeper, or the Girardi effect doesn't matter and it doesn't do any reasonable damage. So there's no point. I never understood the damage reduction on these two at all, but I guess that's how they wanted it. But at least now it only happens at 50% max less health or whatever, so it's not like they're invulnerable from all the things that would normally kill them. Spy moving faster. Long heater, you can now work with a pyro buddy, I guess. Bring around a sandwich. But feels like they would die anyways. They're just a heavy and a pyro attacking them, so. And it's 25% increased damage versus burning players, but you're already doing minus 10% damage, so it's. I don't know exactly how the math works, but I'm sure it's not really all that much more damage. Pyro is now meant to kill targets being healed by a medigun. Is the idea, I guess, to kill pockets, so it's like really easy for a pyro to take down someone who's being directly healed by just burning them. Man Melter still feels like it fires slow when I used it, but maybe I'm just crazy. They have the ridiculous all medi guns now magically allow you to follow targets, which feels really weird to go like this, because that literally only means like scouts and like that's it. Because this thing was already a buggy feature that like randomly like would toggle on and off incorrectly if someone was like say using critical quick fix or the baby faces blaster. Quick fix, recharge rate. Quick fix, that's fine because the quick fix already always builds at like maximum rate because it doesn't do overheal, so it just builds uber really fast. I tried out the overdose and it's really awesome how fast you can go, but it still feels like I'd just rather use the crossbow. I want the syringe, all like syringe guns to do healing of some sort. Like just a minor amount at least. It may sound dumb, but like it could actually matter if you're not like up and near people and you're trying to get them, just spam a ton of these high spread healing syringes at people. Like that heal better at distance. So like if you hit them with the syringe from a really far area away, you do almost like maybe 15 healing, or 20 might be a little ridiculous, but that would make all the syringe guns viable. And you'd still want the crossbow because that would be the skillful one that does like 150 healing. But then the syringe guns would be the one where it's like, look, I don't know where this guy's going. He's on my team, but he doesn't. We're not really communicating because it's a pub. So I'll just spam a ton of syringes at him before I can get to him with my medigun, and he'll get some amount of healing. That should definitely be a thing, but they haven't done that yet, which I don't know why. Drop mediguns, store turbocharges to decay, of course, that's good. We're still waiting for a game. What the hell? This feels like it's a little too complicated. It's just kind of like, I wonder how they have it listed. I can't even check because I'm stuck in a queue because you can't do anything else while you're stuck in a queue. You can't play on a community server. You can't go on a training mode. You are literally stuck on the screen waiting for the director to make up its mind. It's just like, okay, so there's a synergy between them that's unnatural, which this may sound unrelated, but I remember when this started happening to a card game, like Magic cards, where like it started to become all about these really weird synergies where it's like, if this is an elf card and that's an elf card, then this works. If this is a sliver and that's a sliver, this works. Instead of being about individual cards that happen to work together. And this is the same thing now that it's like they're listing out specific play styles and like giving you bonuses for doing them, like having the full set of the power jacket done, where you just magically have more moves, people, whatever. Iron Bomb refuse time decrease is very interesting. This also means it can't shoot as far, I think. Maybe I'm crazy. Quickie Bomb Launcher is the demo spam weapon now, and I wonder if fully charged traps do more damage, which I have to assume they do. So you could actually set more deadly traps with the Quickie Bomb Launcher if I'm correct about this, which I might not be. It takes a little bit longer because you have to reload. The level 1 teleporters thing feels great, but I wish all his support buildings built faster. They take too long to build and they can get destroyed too easily, so they don't really end up having an impact. Unless, like, you set them up and it's not really that far. And the level 1 teleporters especially, like, it's a huge investment to level up your teleporters when you need dispenser and sentry. So they still take an incredibly long amount of time to recharge and teleport people, and they usually end up just waiting there, waiting for it, or walking all the way there when they could have waited at the right time. I kind of wish there wasn't any levels to teleporters, and they were just like a certain amount of effectiveness. But they wanted the upgrade mechanic that was on the sentry to be applied to every other building, so they just kind of made it that way, so you end up needing an enormous amount of time and metal investment when most of the areas where you would set up there's not even enough ammo, that you would be in danger the whole time you're trying to build and get set up. I'd rather like dispensers and teleporters just be like level 1.5 or level 2 effectiveness. I would prefer level 2 and then just not have upgrades. This is no level 3 version. So that way you can focus on the sentry and then focus on keeping things prepared and ready, but even the dispenser can have the upgrade, but the teleporters just can't afford it. They're still too expensive to do, unless they decrease the upgrade cost, which would be fantastic if they decreased it to like 100. Teleporters still have an issue for me. This, I would agree with Banny on, this makes no sense. There's no way for you to plan around working with your sentry. It's like, you can just like hide at like a corner and wait for a mini sentry to be like, oh, I see someone, and you're like, alright, I'm gonna kill him, and I do 10% more damage, which is like pretty insignificant because he would go from doing like 60 to 66. So it doesn't really matter. Oops, that was wrong button. Eureka effect is glitched because somehow they didn't realize that this would be a problem with destroying a teleporter and then picking up metal. So you now have infinite ammo if you have the Eureka effect, or infinite metal. This is funny, but still kind of useless, where the right click feature is now like cheap. So you can just run around poking people with it, but you would die if you actually did that, so there's no point. But it's good for destroying projectiles, I guess. Now Thompson is still kind of ridiculous, and it's even more ridiculous now because if you're fighting an engineer at close range with the Thompson, he can just fucking murder you so easily. Hits you with like 2 shots of Thompson and just pistol whips you instead of wasting time trying to hit you again. With like 1 tap, you're dead. But at least long range, it's not powerful anymore. I don't know what long range means since you're not giving me any specific units of measurement. I wish they would, but whatever. And hooray, they fixed the invisible Thompson exploit that like almost no one used. But like, I'm glad they got rid of it. I'm glad they're fixing small details, stuff like that. This update was kind of unexciting for me. Especially with this. This is killing the entire game right now. This is literally destroying the community. Like, you wouldn't believe how many people are not playing right now because of this. And becoming unwilling to play. They kind of fucked up with this. I think the idea was that it was going to encourage you playing with your friends. And then like being able to be on the same team as your friends. But auto balance kind of forcing you guys occasionally to be against each other was actually really fun. Like, we complain and we get upset about it, but it was an important part of the game to fight your friends. I didn't even notice it said play with friends. Now they're trying to get the community all in one area, but they ended up blocking them all up. I wonder if they ever tried to take a survey for how often, like, they could have asked, you know, when you play a TF2, how often are you playing with friends? You know, when you play TF2, how often do you fight against your friends? How often are you on community servers? How often are you on Valve pubs? Like, do you prefer fighting groups of people at your own skill level, or are you happy just like dicking around against noobs? Which is what I end up doing. How many of you try to pub stomp? How many don't? If you did an anonymous survey, it might have just helped a little bit. It would. You're not sure if you can trust like all of it, but I don't know. Something. This search isn't working at all. I don't even know if I get to play the game. Community servers. There's like this one map. I don't even think this is actually a Valve server. It's just someone named it a Valve server. I don't know if you can do that. I don't get it though. I don't understand this update very much. There's so many important things they need to address in the game, and they just kind of like missed a lot of them and got a couple of them. Like, look at this. This looks like it would actually be fun. It's kind of fun to mess with people. But why would I push someone when I could just run up and kill them? It does 1 damage. If I find a sniper in a precarious spot, why would I push him when I could just shoot him dead? Oh, I got killed. But you get my point, right? Wait, following you. 0.0. I don't care enough. I should help, but it's not important to me. Ugh. You know, when I'm being healed, they're moving at my move speed. So silly. But at least as a scout, I'll get healed by medics more. And you could tell in my bottom left, I saw this guy uncloaking as me. Like all my cosmetics and stuff started toggling, so I don't know how they missed adding that bug. It feels like they're working with a version of the game that's not the same as ours, and every time they update it, they're missing stuff. Because the project version they have is different. Gosh, it started really fast. There's no wait time or anything, it just ran out of spawn when it restarted. Oh, the hitboxes are the same as ever in this game. I have to relearn where people are, since I'm used to Overwatch where I can just shoot at people from where I see them. Gosh, I took a lot of damage all of a sudden. I feel like I'm taking more than normal. I've been dying to shotguns a lot lately. I was really hoping that this game would clean up a little bit and like add some really interesting game-changing ways to play the game, like I mentioned with the syringes, but that's probably not gonna happen. I thought Pyro was really gonna become different instead of like just get a buff against heal targets. And we already deal with healing targets by killing the medic first. Now it's like, oh, if you get really close and someone's being healed, you can kill them pretty quick. But they already tend to die really quick, and if we're talking about ones that don't die really quick, like a heavy, he'll kill you. Soldier, he'll kill you. You're still too close. What's a Pyro gonna do at that range? Reflect? This doesn't really work. The thing about reflecting that's so confusing and difficult is that like a lot of the time, if you like train the Pyro right, they're gonna have to start right clicking before you actually fire, so you can start waiting for them to do it. It's like this endless mind game. They have to like, I don't really know what I'm talking about too much. I just know that I get a lot of Pyros to right click without shooting, and then I just respond to their right click like they would have responded to a long range rocket, because they can only do it so often. I don't understand this shove at all. I could understand it if it did something like the reserve shooter, which I would still kind of hate because it would be awkward and weird. But like if it did significantly more damage to a target after you push them. I don't have any skill in this game anymore. I did get the Carlton though, because I love it. It's a looping taunt, so you can just keep doing it. That's about the most exciting thing in this update for me. I was happy they made teleporters cheaper. But because their upgrade costs are still insane, they're not going to get built. They're just going to be level 1s. And level 1s are really like unimportant. They allow like a couple people through. And they mostly just cause a time sink as your team fights over it and no one teleports. I kind of wish this game would abandon a lot of competitive mindset, but that's never going to happen. So putting that aside, I wish they would just consider some more casually fun things. Also, you can't critically push people. It does 1 damage, so you'd think criticals would do 3 and push people really far, so you could have like critical pushing, crits creek, pop a shortstop scout for no point other than just to watch people go flying. But they don't have it that way. Not at all. If you kill someone with pushing, it just marks them as having died. It doesn't even like credit you or anything. It's just they are dead. I love what they did to the rocket jumper and sticky jumper though. They look so vastly different. It's fantastic. This spy go. However, this is a really long video compared to my other ones, I'm sure. I just wanted to talk about this update. I'm gonna die to this guy's shotgun. Can't aim a rocket, and I can't aim my fucking shortstop. Oh, okay, so it's like this now. Whatever, they're all hidden in spawn now. I wish I could aim my shots, but I really can't right now. Yeah, definitely gonna see a lot more pub medics now that they can speed boost off of scouts. I definitely think the syringes would have helped a lot. I mean, one of my favorite like thoughts over that syringe idea I mentioned would just be the way that I know a lot of spots where I can shoot syringes across the map and like land them all in a general area, and my teammates could actually use that as a healing field. Like if they even got 15 healing per syringe, it would be fantastic. Where do I aim to hit him? I mean, I'm doing everything from aiming at him to aiming where he was, and I'm still not making direct contact. I like pushing friendlies out of the way now though, so shortstop's great for dealing with friendlies. Kinda wish this game had a kill cam. I really appreciated that in Overwatch. Being able to see who killed me, how they killed me, and knowing that someone else had to see how I killed them. A lot of fun. Oh, this is such a weird server I'm on. I don't understand it.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
Where am I supposed to aim to hit you? so confused right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Mission ends in 10 seconds. 5, 4,
Owie. 43,000 kills. Why do I feel like that's not legitimate? Quickest way to check. Maybe. Achievement. Longest life 51 minutes. Max skills 40. I don't know. A lot of people reset their stats after leveling a strange. It doesn't even matter. Even if you do it legit, it doesn't mean anything. For the same reason that, like, even if you did 1,000 push-ups, it could not mean anything if you did them all wrong.
3, 2, 1.
See, like, you saw all three of those just now. I am hitting him explicitly. 0 damage. 0 damage. I'm on blue red team. I'm retarded. I've never felt dumber in my life. Overwatch has trained me to shoot at the red players, so I shot at the red players. And they happen to not be the enemy. I've never felt more stupid in my entire life. Oh well. Oh boy, mini sentry. I didn't even get a ding of damage for that. I just fucking like... Why? They all turned against me. I pushed their medic. They all got so mad. The scorch shot is another example of like an item that could use a change, but they haven't even like realized it. All you need to do to the shortstop is make it charge up
Alert.
for its
Control
knockback,
point is being captured.
like the loose cannon. Literally, that's all you need to do. And then if it does more knockback on a charged shot, it has a purpose. But people don't want to be knocked back. Whatever.
Control point is being captured. We have
I felt his death. This push is so beyond useless. Whatever. I'm not really excited about this update. It didn't address any like truly new experience or functionality, just like a couple weird things, a couple really overpowered things, and then things that have problems still with them. I don't really feel like playing TF2 all that much.